Have you been in a relationship where you felt that you couldn't share your thoughts, opinions, or viewpoints with the other person for fear of their reaction, or open communication just wasn't happening? On this episode of Intentional Dating with Sara, I'm going to share with you 3 red flags that you can watch out for when it comes to communication in relationships. I'll give you examples of these from relationships that I've been in so that you know what to look out for when you're dating. Share this video if it helps you, and be sure to grab my free guide on the 3 essential steps to finding the relationship of your dreams, which is linked down below this video. So let's get into it. In a healthy relationship, sharing your thoughts, your opinions, and your viewpoints is something that's critical to making sure that the relationship is strong and secure. It's also critical in making sure the relationship is fun when you can communicate openly with each other. You should want to hear your partner's thoughts and opinions and share yours as well, because that's how you build a relationship that is good for the both of you. I can talk to my husband about anything and share with him my opinions because we've built a relationship where we can communicate with each other and there's safety and security there. I don't have any worries that something I might say might push him away or make him leave. So let's talk about 3 red flags that you can watch out for communication whenever you're dating. Now, I'm not talking about situations here where somebody just had a bad or a tiring day and they don't want to get into a discussion at the end of the day, but they're willing to talk about it later. And I'm not talking about a situation where you're sharing your thoughts with your partner and you realize that you have some differing viewpoints and one person just needs to take a mental break to do some processing with their thoughts. That's normal. We're talking about a pattern of communication here where you consistently in the relationship feel like you're unheard and unvalued. So let's get into the 3 red flags. The first red flag when it comes to communication is stonewalling. Now, if you're not familiar with stonewalling, I like to use the phrase that I might as well just go talk to the brick wall, because that's what stonewalling is. Stonewalling is when the other person just shuts down the conversation so much that it's as if you're not even talking to a person at all. An example of this when I was in a relationship is that I wanted to share something that I was upset about. It wasn't anything in the relationship. It was just something going on in my day-to-day life that I was upset about. I shared it with the other person. They said, "Oh," and turned around and walked away. That's a classic example of stonewalling, and I want you to watch out for it. The second red flag when it comes to communication is feeling like you're not allowed to talk about certain subjects. Now, I'm not talking about a situation where maybe there's something that has hurt you in the past and you guys have discussed it. It may have not even been something that happened in the relationship, but you've discussed it. The other person knows that it's a hurtful part of your past, and so they agree, okay, I'm not going to bring that up again because I know it will hurt you. We're not talking about something like that. We're talking about just in everyday life, if there's a reasonable subject that could be talked about in a relationship and the other person consistently shuts it down, that can be a problem. An example of this from a relationship I was in is that there was a certain subject that the other person really got upset about or really got angry about. And it had nothing to do with me saying something that was mean or cruel or anything like that. It was just this particular subject he didn't like to discuss. And he actually told me, we're not going to talk about that. Now, this was not a subject that reasonably should have been stifled or anything like that. So if you're hearing from somebody that we're not going to talk about that, or you're not allowed to talk about that, or I don't want to hear this again from you, those are red flags. The third red flag when it comes to communication is feeling like you're keeping thoughts to yourself because you're afraid of what might happen if you share them. This is a situation where before you go into a conversation with the other person, you're checking your thoughts in your mind and you're thinking, if I share this, he's going to yell at me. If I share this, we're going to get into an argument. If I share this, he's going to belittle me and tell me I'm stupid. Anything like that is shutting down the conversation. In a healthy relationship, these thoughts could be shared and talked about. So if before you're having a conversation, you're thinking, I better not share this, I shouldn't share this opinion, if I say this, this conversation is going to go south. If you're thinking of any of those things, I want you to pay attention to that because it's a sign that you do not have open communication in this relationship. So if you're dating and you're seeing these 3 red flags going on in your relationship when it comes to communication, I want you to pay attention. Stonewalling, being told that you have to avoid certain subjects, and keeping thoughts to yourself because you are afraid to share them are all signs that this relationship is probably not a good one. Do you want a relationship where you have open communication and you can share what you want to share with the other person? Of course you do. We all want a relationship like that. If your boyfriend consistently shuts down conversation instead of welcoming it, it's a sign that you do not have free and open communication in this relationship, and it's probably not the relationship for you. Make sure you grab my free guide, which is linked down below, on the 3 essential steps of finding the relationship of your dreams without wasting your time, energy, or emotions on the wrong men. Subscribe to my channel and watch one of these other videos that's popping up on your screen on how you can intentionally date to find the man of your dreams.